Hey friends, Ashley Berges here, and today I'm talking about spirituality. I'm actually identifying 10 signs that indicate that you are a highly spiritual person. Here we go. Hey friends, glad to be back. So we're talking today about spirituality. Okay, and today this is the first part of a two-part series video discussing highly spiritual people. I'm going to give you 10 signs that you are highly spiritual, and next week we'll have part 2. So let's begin with sign number 1. The first sign that you are a highly spiritual person is that you actually take responsibility for your life and for your actions. You're not blaming other people for the things that you've done. This is critical when you're entering the stage of spirituality, because we have to take consideration and ownership for our own life. You know, the second characteristic is that you stepped out of the victim role, okay? You've stepped out of that victim role, and now you've realized that you are actually a co-creator in your own life, okay? I've been in the victim role before, where I couldn't understand why these things were happening to me. What was the cause of these things? Why was I going through this hell? And when I finally stepped back a little bit and kind of realized that when I took myself out of that victimhood mentality, all of a sudden I had power in my life. I'm a powerful person. I'm a co-creator in this world. And that began with taking responsibility for my life and for my actions. And that's so necessary when you're actually being a highly spiritual being. The third characteristic is you actually love your life because you found a soul purpose. It's not until we actually find that we actually have a greater purpose on this planet than living and dying that we realize that our life is worth living, and it's actually quite an awesome thing. I mean, it took me a while to get out of victimhood so I could see the forest for the trees, finding that responsibility, and then eventually realizing this is a pretty special place to be at, and there's got to be something unique that I have to do, and I'm going to follow that path in my soul's purpose. The fourth indication that you are a highly spiritual being is that you are comfortable with being yourself with anybody you come into contact with. That means that you're not wearing masks, you're not covering your identity for one group or another, you're not trying to act like this person in front of your parents or whoever. You're actually comfortable with being you, okay? That means that you've connected with this soul level. You're not trying to hide because you have nothing to hide, and you realize that you actually have perfection in all of your actual imperfections. Much like number 4, number 5 is that you're actually comfortable in your own skin. That means that you actually love you. You love your body, you love your ears, you love your face, you love your hair, whether you have a lot or not a lot. You're actually comfortable in being you. You're not trying to hide, you're not trying to augment. And you actually love the body you're in because you realize there's a bigger picture here, right? The process is that you're a spirit being that is in a body, and the body is the vehicle that gets you from A to B, and so you actually take care of and feel good about your vehicle. Number 6 is one of my favorites, is that you actually enjoy spending time by yourself. I'm sure you have friends that just can't stand being by themselves. They hate it. They get scared being by themselves, like they can't stand the dark. But you actually love going home or spending time in your office between clients or between work and just being with yourself, being mindful, taking consideration of the day, and refocusing your energy on your soul's purpose. Number 7 has been a tough one for me in the past, and I'm not sure about you, but it's having the courage to let go of certain relationships that no longer hold benefit to you. The folks who might not necessarily be as awakened as you are. And what I mean by that is it's not like you're letting go of people because they're not like giving you stuff. It's like you're actually kind of putting a distance between people that don't see the same spiritual level as you do. It's hard to have communications with people when they don't understand the big picture that you see. And so sometimes when you're explaining things to other people that are in that unawakened state, they have a tendency of judging you, of finding fault, and of making fun. And I don't know about you, but the last thing that I necessarily want to do with my time is to be defensive of the things that I know to be true. So oftentimes we have to put a little bit of division between us and them, still loving them and sending them good vibes and good love, but not spending a lot of time with them on a day-to-day basis. Number 8, one of the most fun things that happens when you get to that spiritual level is that you notice awesome synchronicities in your life, okay? It's those amazing little nuances that make life so enjoyable and colorful every moment of every day. And when you're more in the moment and you're more mindful and you're aware of your surroundings, that's when you're able to notice these things. And what I've found is they can be considered patterns, and they're usually unique to just you. And when you start connecting with these synchronicities, what does it mean? It means that you're on target, you're in the right place at the right time, and you're in the right mindset. Number 9, and one of the things that probably irritates a ton of my friends, is that I notice details and I am hyper aware. I notice details of everywhere I am, of everything I'm around, of everything, okay? I've always been like that. And why is it? It's because you're in the moment. When you're a highly spiritual being, you take nothing for granted, okay? Nothing is another humdrum day. You're not sitting there going, well, another day, same old, here we go again. It's more like, wow. You notice things. You notice the plants. You notice the roses. You notice the color of this or the changes of the leaves. You might notice an amazing sunrise or amazing sunset, and it'll be in your mind, in the forefront of your mind all day, while other people aren't that aware. You might see something that's amazing, while you might point it out. Everybody else is like, what are you talking about? I have no idea. Why is that? Because you're in the moment. You're not thinking about what happened yesterday, and you're not thinking about what you want to happen. Instead, you're in the moment, living in the now. Number 10, and one of my favorites, is that you're actually more childlike. That's because you're more connected to the source, okay? And that goes back to being hyper aware. When you're a child, remember how aware you were of everywhere you were? You remember how you would go on a journey with your parents, and you might do that journey every day, like coming back from school or going to school, but it felt like a new experience each and every time? Okay, when you get closer to the source and you become more spiritually attuned, all of a sudden you realize you don't have to put on any more airs. You don't have to have those masks, okay, that you felt like you had to create to safeguard yourself. Instead, you realize that the safest you can be is by being you, okay? And when you do that, you become more childlike because there's not any of these like societal limitations on you anymore. You actually begin to be yourself at the core. And that's what's so awesome. I mean, I realize that I want to be a 5-year-old for the rest of my life, and I'm happy with being a 5-year-old. And I'm talking about my soul and my heart and living from that perspective because it's a great place to be. I mean, when I was 5, life was awesome. I saw the trees and the dogs and the cats and everything that I wanted to see, and I loved it. And I was hyper aware, but I was also living an amazing life. And that's what we should be doing. When we become adults, we get sold this bill of goods that we're supposed to be older, and we're supposed to be more conservative, and we're supposed to hide this, and we're supposed to act this way around these people and not act that way around those people because they might judge us. But when we get more connected to who we truly are and why we're here on this planet, we realize that the most important thing is being ourselves because that's why we're here. When we actually offer ourselves, our authentic, true selves, to everybody around us, we inspire them. Not only do we inspire them, but we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. That's why we're here. And so that's why it's so amazing when you go back to that childlike state, all of a sudden you're experiencing life at its finest. Okay, so in the comment section below, I want to know, are you 10 out of 10 on this? Or are you not? And if not, what are those things that you're working on to get there? And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. And if this content has helped you, please give a like. In the meantime, share with your friends and family and anybody that you care about that you feel needs to hear this information. And in the meantime, don't forget to live your true life.